Let's explore some strange facts you was unaware of the Big Bang Theory. Dating in secret. Among the largest secrets and strangest information you didn't know, being aware of the Big Bang Theory was the first connection between Coco and Johnny. They dated discreetly for only 2 years, yet nobody was aware of this in the initial seasons of their on-screen appearance on Big Bang Theory. Penny and Leonard's chemistry resulted in genuine off-screen communication. Kai acknowledged that her sights were just for Johnny in the first season, even though they were at the time involved with other persons. Everyone is aware of the legendary first season, an elevator shaft scenario, but what they are unaware of the peculiar truth that they both sensed the spark at this point. According to Johnny, the spark between they were more of a diversion, thus they were unable to ignore it any longer. Their relationship was kept confidential until Kaya revealed it in a conversation, stating, after the breakup they stayed close and thought it was a successful conclusion. Indeed, during one and the Comic-Con excursion, they remained apart hotel structures and had a covert meeting other through tunnels beneath the ground, rushing to and from one another's rooms to prevent others from learning about their covert partnership. However, after they split up, making all of their personal awkward scenes, oddly enough, the program Sheck Laurie, the creator, appeared to their romantic moments following their split up as though he were having fun with. However, they have stayed close companions. Johnny and Kay tours. The remaining characters were primarily seen as sending many stories to richier residences. Although these scenes weren't as perfect as they appeared, television filming on a staircase, the famous scenes from the Big Bang Theory's staircase were primarily employed to go to their apartments, and people frequently saw them having conversations or making jokes. However, one strange information you were unaware of is that this was shot in a single hallway. Stairway located on Warner's Stage 5, My Brothers. The production crew expertly fixed the single set Sathit. It simulates various floors. They would change the door numbers, including or take down the bicycles, plants, and other decorations, water bottles, or even fix the damaged yellow warning tape. An elevator signature distinguished between tiers. Kunal Nair, who portrayed Raj, claims that actors were part in the filming procedure, descending the stairs. I see when the decor was altered by the crew to resemble another floor, followed by the same route stairs once more, giving the appearance of several layers. Additionally, the timing had to be specific as the audience's laughing occasionally arrived mid-step, so occasionally pacing or conversation had to change to prevent any floor-to-floor overlap. This strange many admirers didn't know this information. Don't understand. When will you watch Big Bang next? Hypothesis: gaze at the scene in the stairwell as whatever the alleged floor. It has the same wall sconces and scuff marks. This discloses the set secret. Genuinely utilized repeatedly. Staircases were constructed by excavating floor of the soundstage to allow descending steps, giving it a realistic sense. Consider how challenging it must have been for the actors to continue rising again down the identical staircase. However, did you are aware that directly beneath the stairs one of the performers possessed a bad habit of jamming his gum in chewing gum by Johnny Gleeky? There were numerous instances in which the Big Bang Theory the main protagonists had to ascend and descend the stairs due to the fact that their elevator was. However, now that you are aware of that, the staircase was simply a well-designed set that didn't lead anywhere. But you don't you know what's beneath that stairway. Kunal Raj's actor Nair had previously revealed thing at the singles bottom stairway where the cameras are never really captured on camera. Playing by Johnny Gleeky had an odd tendency to stick his chewing gum was discarded on the wall. Kunal indicates that this continued for the whole length of the series, an incredible 12 years. Anyone who visits there now will see what Kunal said was a wall of 3,000 dried chewing gums. At once the story was taken up by major media outlets, since this is among the most peculiar beginnings routings ever. According to some, fans may even attempt to purchase a portion of Johnny's gum as a unique keepsake. This is among the most bizarre secrets that the Big Bang is unknown to fans. Theory. Although it's intriguing to learn each of the show's primary characters possesses some musical abilities, it's impossible to know if they whether on purpose or not. But the Big Bang Theory offered more than just amusement. It also demonstrated genuine musical ability. A large number of the members did in fact perform their own screen-based instrument parts. As an example, Maim Bialik, who performed Ami, acquired the ability to play the harp especially for the position. In fact, She performed a few works on her own, like As Everyone Is Hurt, whether they are alive or dead. However, certain more intricate elements, such as one during the wedding of Leonard and Penny, were mimicked. Jim Parsons, who performed took on the most peculiar tools. In fact, he discovered and performed the scene directly on camera in the bus pants usage in the episode. Additionally, he played the piano and played the bongos, the actual Johnny Gleeky ice life chest, and he made no secret of that during on the program. In the episode called According to the Hamburger Postulate, he seems to carefully adjust the cello before miming to prevent any problems with live sound. Fans saw that he knew what he was as the cello is being tuned, verifying his capacity. Even the performer, who Seaman Helberg Howard is a qualified pianist that has been performing since age 10. His brilliance is clear during the Moon band sequences with imprints on them plus more musical sequences. And then Kunalar, played by Raj, showed his guitar abilities, including performing on the show. Thus, the actors didn't merely act like they were playing instruments, such as some fans on the show thought they really did. Whether for the show, they learned it, or they had played the instrument for a long time, years. It continues to add a lot of afternoonness to a lot of the music elements on the TV series. Many admirers adore sequences in which they performed instruments, but a real fan will always, along with Sheldon, say bazinga. However, what is the origin of this word? Bazinga fans may have overheard actors say during the Big Bang the term bazinga theory. However, one of the peculiar features that I have no idea where it originated. The exclamation initially appeared on television. First appeared in the season 2 finale, The Expedition Monopoly. This episode, Sheldon uses the phrase 3 times in order to accentuate his jokes and display his cunning, particularly after making fun of Leonard. But the origins of this phrase is something that may surprise you. Stephen Malaro, the showrunner, revealed that the author Stephen Eniel was the one who created bazinga while they were having fun tricks in the writer's room. Stephen would sew a grapefruit, reattach it with tape, and then present it to an unwary author shouting bazinga. It washes personal property and seized the humorous tone of the program. Once a word was added to the script by the writer, it was the reason bazinga became in close proximity to Sheldon Cooper and the show's humor. Even if the phrase was, the creative team was concerned about popularity, about overusing it to make fans will not grow weary of it. Thus they purposefully decreased the usage during the season 5 and 4. The expression's pop culture wasn't just about the performance. In 2012, Brazilian researchers discovered a new species of orchid bees that had previously missed someone else. This brought to their attention of Sheldon's humorous name for trickery, since scientists had been duped by the bee. Thus they gave it the name Euglisabinga, dubie, similar to the popular term bazinga. Though the Big Bang Theory ingeniously employed another entertaining linguistic exercise in one of their subsequent episodes, Playful Ooby-Doo, the game in which you must first add up Hebrew words' vowel sounds. Hi there, turns into Hugh. It gained popularity thanks to Zoom, the children's show on the PBS in the 1970s. This ran between 1972 and 1978, and temporarily relaunched from 1999 and 2005 on Penny and Amy utilized the Big Bang Theory. In the episode from season 10, Ooby-Dooby elasticity of veracity. In private, they used this code to communicate whenever Leonard and Sheldon began talking, providing the girls with their own linguistic advantage. The catchphrase of Sheldon was "stet," the only aspect of his personality that intended for. Additionally, he wore color-coded clothing, yet some people are unaware that they conveyed his attitude. Color-coded shirts. This is a really strange truth, but many admirers were unaware that they could determine Sheldon's disposition simply by observing his t-shirt. The subtle colors of his shirt mirrored his feelings, motivated the primary color spectrum of the Green Lantern DC comics, where every color relates to a particular feeling. Every 1A mood is symbolized by color. At any time, Sheldon's crimson shirt revealed his frustration and rage. This hue was observed when Sheldon's limits were excitement or his small habits where he occasionally donned green as well, demonstrating his confidence or willpower. Stanton moments occurred when these were utilized, or whenever Sheldon displayed signs of emotion power. An additional hue that Sheldon wore was yellow at times, which showed signs of worry or fear. The refrigerator shows pictures of Penny alongside other figures including Asbjørn, Odette, Amy, and Leonard, in addition to spontaneous images of the production team. Asha's social network grew. These even her personal mementos followed her as she and Leonard moved in together. In essence, she was carrying a number of photos. Refrigerator with only case photos on it. Quoco's buddies in real life. Furthermore, following Caroline's untimely death, Mr. Swalowitz's voice actor, Susie did a sincere homage by putting her picture in the refrigerator. It was there as a background reminder that is heartfelt. It was a subliminal homage to the actress following her death, and it was there ever since. If you view scenes and if you look attentively at Penny's chamber, you may notice some of the fridge's intricacies are hidden gems. One behind the scenes still exists from Penny and Leonard's dream scenario in a refrigerator in the form of an elevator shaft picture. Although these images weren't taken at random, in reality, they were positioned to enhance their surroundings. The only fans who look at would have observed what was on Penny's refrigerator. However, this fact may notice strange is the reality that Leon glasses without lenses all the time. Have you noticed that? Glasses without lenses. From the Big Bang's first season theory, the trademark of Leonard Hoffadeath framed glasses were part of the ensemble. Although nobody ever observed that they included not using lenses. In Johnny Gleeky's opinion, he desired to retain the glasses as a component, oft nerdy persona of his role. Once Harry recalled that throughout the rehearsal process, the production team believed that the eye were his own pair. However, after filming initially, there was a single issue. Given that Sheldon is considerably taller than Leonard, one needed to constantly glance up at him and the lenses would catch the studio lights. The camera glared as a result. Thus, they needed to determine how to keep their character appearance as well as the cleanliness majors. Well, Johnny had a brief thought as he promptly took off Thethy's spectacles lens. They stayed lensles for all 12 seasons of the show. Despite the fact that the decision wasn't useful, it strengthened Leonard Accidente. There were numerous instances when other characters made fun of his nearsightedness, which adds another dimension to the humor of the sitcom. The Big Bang Theory. The developers kept many secrets about their conversation, since fans were unaware that their Easter was actually one of my favorite numbers. Eggs with numbers. Among the strange information that followers were unaware of regarding the Big Bang Theory, there was an Easter egg concealed in each signature. The number that Sheldon Cooper loves the most is 73. The explanation of the show in the Alien Parasite Hypothesis episode was that it was prime number 20-1. And the 12th number is its mirror 37. Next, 7 times 3 equals 21. In 73 is 100101 in binary code. Every single one of Sheldon discovered this palindrome. Intriguing. However, much more intriguing-wise that it was the 73rd episode of the show, and the birth year of Jim Parsons was 1973, connecting the author and the character Tuth number. And further intriguing Easter Emmy Farrah Fowler had an egg concealed in her 314 was the apartment number. This was a light-hearted reference to her reflection in the mathematical constant scientific nature. Additionally, even when Willen, the show Wheaton, was himself, 1701 was his home address. Cited the registration number of the Enterprise USS NCC 17001 Day in tribute to his legacy in Star Trek. Every single one of these exclusive Easter eggs, fans who were paying attention would notice. However, many fans were unaware of what was written on Sheldon and Leonard's whiteboard home. Well, it was pretty real. Authenticity of whiteboard during its existence. There were consistent equations displayed on the whiteboard, but fans were unaware that they were in fact genuine. During its existence, the Big Bang Theory gave scientific creation, courtesy of Dr. David Saltzberg, a physicist from UCLA, acting as the series' committed consultant in science. Every week, Saltzberg created and evaluated scripts. New formulas to embellish the whiteboards, guaranteeing meticulously accurate formals, and sometimes adding actual scientific advancements. In fact, the legitimacy of the whiteboards was so authentic that numerous additionalcians who study physics, even actual researchers, been sending in their own research tobe highlighted on the boards. For example, episode 4 of season 7 of the program purposely included an equation taken straight out of Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was a recognized scientific mistake from the movie as a humorous Easter egg made by Alec PhD, while the designers attempted to make the more genuine whiteboard that didn't alter the reality that the majority of the characters' members were unaware of their identities discussing as they acted as scientists. However, one thing you were unaware of is that Amy's actor Mayim Bialik has a genuine neuroscience doctorate, adding to the scientific legitimacy of the show. After she became part of the cast, the authors purposefully gave her character a neurobiologist in order to verify the facts and accurate scientific components when required. On the other hand, other actors thought the discussion rich in science was and Jim Parsons acknowledged that a lot of all the diagrams and jokes about science passed his head. However, even if he had no scientific training, he successfully delivered Sheldon's complicated. All of his lines had to be written by him on note cards, then commit them to memory when strolling around. Even the cards were put on by him. The set surrounding wall as a reminder thing concealed them in notebooks, so Hammett make reference to them while performing. References to superheroes. Given that the conversation and whiteboard were pretty moreover, the cast of Big Bang Theory also wanted to portray their superhero as authentic. Citations. However, that wasn't that simple with internal politics of business. One of the strange things that you were unaware of the Big Bang Theory is something that they were forced to pick DC over Marvel. While the Big Bang Theory often mentions characters from both DC and Marvel, DC heroes were the only ones to appear visually in comic books, posters, t-shirts, and costumes. The explanation is simple. The program was created and released by Warner Brothers Television, which additionally possesses DC Comics. With Marvel characters would need to be licensed, and these permits are frequently expensive or complex. People such as Sheldon were frequently seen wearing DC characters like Batman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, Flash, and Superman on their attire, as well as during episodes of costume parties. Every one of the purpose of the characters was to be geeky, thus supporters questioned why they didn't wear outfits from Marvel. However, there were just a few allusions, such as Howard and Rog composing a song about Stan Lee or Thor in passing, but they never truly displayed characters from Marvel. Likewise, the DC outfits were replicated, which was the Penny continued to use the same handbag, Penny's purse and shirt. Over the course of the 12 seasons, Penny wore the same brown or red shoulder bag. It was both useful and a character-based decision. Despite her over the following episodes, the style changed. This accessory didn't change, despite the fact that many fans were unaware. One strange fact that you very certainly didn't think Bang Theory is something that 3 times Penny wore the same shirt. Episodes, light blue. Penny's characteristic color purple floral patterned top displayed a subtle tendency throughout the tale. She initially doned when she first met him in the pilot episode, Sheldon and Leonard. Then she reappeared. In episode 100, indicating that Shay had renewed her connection with Leonard at last. Penny donned it only once. Additional information in the series finale at the famous final moment in which the group comes together over takeout. Even if this is intriguing but not as fascinating, Bob Newhart's victory in anime. Following a single program appearance, the Emmy for Bob Newhart in 2013. Bob Newhart was given prime time for the first time Emmy Award for his sincere and depiction of Arthur Jeff, also known as regarding the Big Bang Theory, Professor Proton. He took first place in the category of exceptional guest performer in a comedy show, which makes it a notable event in a TV career that spans 60 years. The victory that year was especially significant, not just carried out respect his work, but when he went on stage with Jim Parsons for the 65th Emmy Awards for Creative Arts, there was a tremendous response from the spectators. Standing ovation. The Big Bang Theory had several strange things occurred away from the viewer's view, from the endless stairway and the number Easter eggs for the information concealed in Thefridge pictures and whiteboards. Which of these facts most surprised you? Let's hear your opinions in the comments section. Thus, we appreciate you viewing this movie, and we'll see you at the following one.